In the last video, I started a challenge that would take me an entire year. We're getting every achievement that I can possibly get in World of Warcraft. Let's get into it. So at the end of last episode, we had just completed the Jade Forest, got so many pants, and we're leaving to go to the Valley of the Four Winds. It's here that we run into Chen and his niece, Lily. They'll be our traveling companions for the majority of this area. We do a few quests for the local farmer, and learn about a secret master hidden somewhere in the valley. We take care of some pests, rescue some produce, and deliver it to the local farmers. Miss Fanny is best girl. Sorry if I'm blowing through this a little quick. A lot of these quests are basically the same thing. It just boils down to doing pest control, at least until we get to mud bugs. He tells Chen his beer is terrible, and he gives us a bottle to fill with mud. Lily was not happy about it.
What? We're done already? Are you sure you don't want to keep waiting in this gross water? Maybe we can find some more weird splashy bottles to fill with mud.
We help out the local silk farmers and do a little bit more pest control. And we are rewarded with a vision. It's a vision of the Vale, but something isn't right. All the water is dried up, and there's shock corruption everywhere. It's almost like an irredeemable madman dropped the heart of a dead god directly into the center of it. But it couldn't be Garrosh. He did nothing wrong. Finishing the side quest, we meet back up with Chen. He recounts the words of his loving family.
How many times I tell you, go away?
And he takes that as a challenge, having us collect ingredients to make the best beer ever made. Like a blend of 5 different types of hops. And alligator spit. I'm starting to think his family was right. Anyways, we're sent to gather grain from a cave in Krasarang. Say that 5 times fast. While we're down there though, we run into yet another spirit beast. Not counting Elegon, there are 3 spirit beasts in the entire expansion. Their names are Husha, Degu, and Gummy, and all 3 are porcupines. Each 3 have their own special abilities as well. With Husha, they were able to heal themselves. And Degu, well, it'd be better just to see it for yourself. Turns out, if you're too far away from Degu, it shoots spikes at you. The trick to this one is to stay out of its melee range, as well as its projectile range, in that sort of sweet spot. I die a couple more times before I figure this out, though. And they do say 3rd time's the charm, so let's see how it goes. With that, the 2nd spirit beast has been tamed. And all it took was my life. Now I hear you hunter mains out there. Dark, why didn't you use Aspect of the Turtle? It makes you immune. Well, I didn't think of using Aspect of the Turtle. I'm an idiot. I've never actually read the description of this ability. I thought I couldn't use Tame Beast while it was active, so oopsies. At least now we have the red and the green for Christmas. What? It's January? I missed it by a whole month? Oh well. After getting all the ingredients for Chin, he said the beer would take a really, really long time, so we just set it and forget it. While we waited, we decided to visit his family, but got ambushed by a giant monkey. After dealing with his minions and rescuing the Pandaren workers, we get a quest to go into the brewery. Inside, we have to clean up Uncle Gao's mess, as well as deal with a pest problem. Once we're done with that, Chen gives us a quest to do the real Storm Stout Brewery dungeon, but I find out later that I can't queue for it because my level is so high. Until that day, we're off to Stoneplow. And as we approach, we find it under siege by the Mantid army. The Mantids are an ancient race. They were around when the old gods were still controlling the planet. I'll get more into their lore when we go into the Dread Wastes. Right now, we have to evacuate all the Pandaren that are staying behind. After repelling the first wave of Mantid, the Shadowpan guard tells us that the Hidden Master is just in the forest to the north, and we pay him a visit to start our training arc. His first test is pretty simple. All we have to do is strike the bamboo until it breaks. We do a little endurance training, and he has us do a few chores like lighting some beacons and getting rid of some mist lurkers, and I ran into a problem. Yeah, it turns out when you record stuff at really high quality for hours, it eats up space. The crazy thing is most of this footage wasn't used, but since that video is out now, I've deleted all of it. And we're now adopting a new way of recording that'll hopefully save me a lot of space. With the chores out of the way, we're on to our next test. And it's just as simple as the first one. All we have to do is hit the planks until they break. After, we're sent to gather eggs. Gotta keep that protein up. I even found a really big egg in this cave, and Jesus Christ! Luckily, we got away, so we can resume our training. We even got to practice punching the big egg, and oh god, the bird is back! Oh god, it's killing him! Oh god! Now it's time for the final test. All we have to do is strike the stone until it breaks. With our training complete, we head back to Stoneplow, and we are done with the campaign. At least that's what I'd like to say. To fully finish the Valley's campaign, we have to do basically all of Krasarang's quests as well. But before we commit to another area, I want to do the final side quest with Hemmet Nessingwary and hunt down all the rares and treasures first. Hemmet's questline is pretty straightforward. We hunt a bunch of animals to near extinction just because we can. Also, whoever decided to make the foxes invisible until you get close enough, I hate you so much. We gather some turtle shells for Hemmet's son, and he uses them for a ritual that awakens some evil monster, which turns out just to be another mist lurker. But with a father and son united, we are finally done, and we get the Rally the Valley achievement, which means it's time to hunt rares. The Valley is home to 8 rares: Nazra, Nalik, Salen War Scout, John Dar, Sulkshore, Blackhoof, Selena, and Bonobos. However, we only really care about 5 of them, as they drop the unique items. Which, if you take a look at my hotbar, you can see we've already gotten the Seed of Tranquil Growth off of Nazra. Her location is right after the bridge connecting the Jade Forest, and I somehow managed to get the drop first try, so we can already cross her off the list. And this theme sorta continues. I get every other thing that I need within 2 to 3 kills. So, sorry to the people who wanted me to get just pants. Which it turns out, every area has their own armor type. The Jade Forest was pants, and the Valley is gloves. And here's what every other area drops, just so you can get an idea. But with the rares out of the way, all that's left is the treasures. Which there's only actually one treasure. It's just a box in a hole. There are 3 weapons, though. And as expected, it wasn't too hard to get all of them. And that fishing charm will be really handy when we tackle professions at some point. Also, again, I've been collecting these scrolls, and this is where you can find them. And with that, we're done. We can move to Krasarang. Heading into Zoo's watch, we find that everyone is severely depressed. Ken asks that we do some wellness checks, and we find the ironically named E-Mo laying and waiting for vultures to eat him. After safely returning him home, Ken has the idea to feed people a disgusting mixture of fish, honey, and salt elementals. When that obviously doesn't work, he suggests that people just wear a mask to hide their emotions. But to our surprise, it actually works and draws out the Shah. And after releasing Emo from his inner demons, Zoo's watch is finally safe. And now it's time to help Kang on his quest to find the Fountain of Youth. We kindly ask the Mogu where it is, and they point us in the right direction. After we pass the Water Elemental's test, we get a bottle of it, and for some reason, Desco's wife is having a child, and she dies during it, and I'm not really paying attention to this storyline. Hey, but we found the Water of Youth, Kang. Isn't that fun? Aren't you having fun? We then continue this very confusing quest line, ending with defeating a Mogu leader and Desco learning some sort of life lesson. Heading to the Temple of the Red Crane, we can see that it's been taken over by the Shah. We help the surviving members escape to a nearby village where we find the Prince of Stormwind. We help him purge the Shah infection from the temple, and we even meet the Red Crane himself, Chi-Ji, whose mind is being taken over by the Shah of Despair. After defeating the Shah and cleansing the temple, we hit level 69. Funny number aside, we have to leave Pandaria to go to Orgrimmar and turn off our XP. The reason why is since we're doing time walking, once we hit level 70, we're taken out of the expansion and everything becomes one-shottable. And since I'm doing a challenge run, it doesn't seem very fair to have that kind of advantage while questing. But with that done, we head back to Krasarang to finish the last quest line before we head back to the valley. The last quest line is pretty simple. We just put a dying Crocolisk out of its misery. But with the full quest line done, it's time to hunt the rares and treasures. There are 8 rares and only 4 treasures in Krasarang. But we aren't too worried about any drops off of the rares, because they all drop one thing: pants. I did kill them for the glorious achievement, though. And all the treasures weren't that hard to get either, because during this recording session, the anniversary event is still live. But with all that done, it's time to head back to the valley. And as we approach, we see that the next wave of Mantid are coming through. And they've brought what is called a Kunchong. It's basically a giant walking tank. And it's huge, even by Mantid standards. Luckily, all of our allies who we've helped show up to defend Stoneplow. And it's with their help that we take out the Mantid leaders, which just leaves the giant Kunchong. And they want me to defeat it on my own. But that's impossible. It's too hard.
But it's too hard, you might say, huh? But it's not too hard. You are ready for this. That's impossible, you might say, huh? Well, then you would be wrong. With clarity and focus, nothing is impossible. To succeed, you must focus all your energy into one fist. Then, strike!
With the battle won and the hole plugged, we're done with the Valley of the Four Winds. We're now able to go to Kunlai, but that will have to wait for the next video. I'd like to thank you all for the amazing support for this series. I'm honestly astounded at how many people loved the first video, and I can't wait to get started on the next video. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Lord Nabble for the shoutout on stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.